Welcome back, everyone. It's great to be back with you for part 2 of our deep dive into building self-worth.
Part 2 already.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Right.
If you just joined us for this part, no worries. We spent part of a getting really practical, with tips from Christian Joseph's book, Building Self-Esteem.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
We even touched on some interesting stuff from, like, the American Psychology Association and Psychology Today.
That's right.
But today, we're going deeper.
Deeper.
Yeah, like way deeper.
Deep dive, right.
Exactly. Into those strategies that can actually help you build that, stronger and more unshakable sense of self-worth.
Love it.
And trust me, some of this might surprise you.
Yeah, it's not always what you think.
We'll even be looking at what self-worth is not, which
Yeah.
is honestly just as important as what it has.
Absolutely.
So before we jump into the strategies, can I just confess something? All those self-esteem, self-compassion, self-worth, they kind of make my head spin.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I get it.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way, right?
Not at all. I think a lot of people feel that way. And it makes sense.
Right. Like, they're all related, but how are they different?
Yeah, it can get confusing.
Yeah.
But understanding those subtle differences, that can actually really change how you approach building a stronger sense of self,
Totally. Okay, so let's break it down.
Okay.
What's the difference between, say, self-esteem and self-worth?
Well, think of self-esteem as like how you think and feel about yourself. It can be pretty fickle, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, one day you ace a presentation at work and your self-esteem is through the roof. The next day you, trip and spill coffee all over yourself and suddenly you're questioning everything.
Exactly.
It's like, ouch.
It's so tied to our performance, what others think.
Right, so self-esteem is very much tied to our performance and what others think of us.
Exactly. But self-worth that goes so much deeper, it's that unshakable knowing of your inherent value, just as a human being, completely independent of all that external stuff.
So it's like, no matter what, you have worth.
Exactly. It's like Dr. Christina Hibbert says, self-esteem is what we think and feel and believe about ourselves. Self-worth is recognizing I am greater than all of those things.
Wow, that's powerful.
Right.
It's almost like self-esteem is about measuring up, but self-worth is about simply being.
You got it. That's a great way to put it.
As we start digging into strategies, I'm curious which of those resonates more with you right now. Do you feel like you're more focused on boosting your self-esteem or cultivating that, deeper sense of self-worth?
Yeah. It's good to think about that as we go.
One thing that really struck me in all this research is how many things we tie our worth to that actually have nothing to do with it. Really, since when does the length of my to-do list determine my value as a person?
Right. It's like we've decided that your job title or how much money you have, that's how we measure worth.
Or even how many followers you have on social media.
Oh, yeah, that one's a biggie.
It's crazy.
It is, right. Stephanie Jade Wong, who we mentioned, before, she has this whole list of factors that surprisingly shouldn't matter, but often do. We're talking relationship status, your age.
Wait, age? Really?
Yeah. Even how far you can run.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Do any of those things actually determine our worth as human beings?
Not really. It's easy to get caught up in that whole comparison game.
It is, but those measures of worth, they're so arbitrary.
Okay, so why do we do it? Why do we, hand over our sense of worth to these external things?
I think it's a combo of things. There's definitely societal pressure to achieve. We're constantly told we need to be more, do more, have more to be happy.
And then we see others who are seemingly doing all those things.
And it's like, I'm not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
We need that validation, that recognition from other people. It's like we want to fit in.
This reminds me of the self-worth theory. That idea that we, try to find self-acceptance through achievement.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Achieve great things. Feel good.
Yeah, totally. But there's a downside to that, isn't there?
There is.
What's the problem with tying our worth to our achievements?
Well, if your self-worth is, completely dependent on achievement, what happens when you face setbacks? You don't get that promotion. Or your business idea fails.
Yeah, you start to question your worth.
Exactly.
Ouch. Your whole sense of self is riding on these outcomes.
It can be so damaging. Creates this pressure to perform, this fear of not being good enough. And it's achieving things isn't a bad thing in itself, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I still want to feel that sense of accomplishment and progress.
Of course. And it's not about giving up on goals. It's about shifting your perspective.
So instead of achieving to feel worthy, we focus on being.
Exactly. Big shift, though.
It is. Can you give me an example? How does that actually look in someone's life?
One of the articles you sent talked about a student named Bill. Bill's a pretty average student, gets B's and C's, but he has incredible self-worth.
Because he's not tying his worth to his grades.
Exactly. He's focused on other stuff, like extracurriculars he enjoys, his relationships with his family and friends, his mental and physical health.
His grades are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. It shows that it is possible to separate our worth from our achievements.
That's inspiring.
It is. And that's where we're heading next. Looking at those specific strategies to cultivate that sense of self-worth from the inside out.
Sounds like we're about to get to the really good stuff. I'm excited.
Me too. This is where it gets really practical.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's not about earning worth. It's about remembering it's already there.
Love that. Okay, I'm ready for those strategies. How do we actually build that unshakable self-worth? Where do we start?
One of the articles you shared, Adam Sinsky, I think it was, outlined this 5-stage approach.
Oh, I love a good framework.
Okay.
Makes it feel doable.
It does. Okay, I can tackle this.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you don't have to go in order. It's more like a toolbox.
Gotcha. Pick and choose. Exactly. So, first stage, increasing self-understanding.
It makes sense. Hard to build self-worth if you don't even know yourself.
Right. And he has this exercise, imagine, everything is taken away. Possessions, relationships, your job, everything.
Whoa, but
what would be left? What's still valuable?
That's deep. It's like getting to the core of who you are.
Right. What really matters beyond all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he has these self-reflection questions to help you, explore that.
Oh, like what?
He asks things like, who am I at my core? What are my values? Even what are my weaknesses?
Not just the good stuff, huh?
Nope, the whole picture.
This would be a good time, listeners, to grab a journal.
Totally. Write this stuff down.
It's one thing to hear it, another to really sit with it.
Exactly. Okay, next stage. Boosting self-acceptance.
Ooh, this connects back to self-compassion, right, from part I.
It does. It's about, forgiving yourself for mistakes, accepting your imperfections.
All of them.
All of them. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's what makes you, you.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? Self-acceptance.
Think of it like a skill. It takes practice. Affirmations can help.
Like what?
Even just, I accept myself fully, just as I am.
I've heard those can be powerful.
They are, if you use them consistently.
Like rewiring your brain, right?
Exactly. Okay, we have to talk about relationships.
Yes. I think so many people, myself included, have based their self-worth on, romantic relationships.
Oh, it's so common, but we got to be careful with that.
Why? Isn't it natural to want to feel loved, validated by your partner?
Of course. But their love can't fill a void that's already there,
Like you can't expect them to give you the worth you need to find in yourself.
Exactly. It's too much pressure on them.
So should we be, completely independent then? Not need anyone?
Not at all. Healthy relationships are about two whole people coming together.
But they each have their own thing going on.
Exactly. You bring your own wholeness, your own self-worth to the table.
So working on your self-worth actually makes you a better partner?
Absolutely. It's like you're not looking to them to complete you.
It's like that image of two people both lit from within, right?
Exactly. Their light amplifies each other.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Good. So we've talked about self-understanding, self-acceptance, not relying on others. What else is in that toolbox?
Let's hear it.
The next stages are about enhancing self-love and taking responsibility. Both super important.
Okay, break it down for me. What does enhancing self-love even mean? Like bubble baths and stuff.
That can be part of it. But it's more about, treating yourself with kindness.
Like you would a friend.
Yes. Honoring your needs. Speaking kindly to yourself.
It's like we're so good at doing that for others, but not ourselves.
It's true, but that relationship with yourself is crucial. Be your own cheerleader.
I love that. And taking responsibility sounds a bit tougher. What's that about?
It's about recognizing that you have the power to shape your life.
Okay, like I'm the one in control.
Exactly. Owning your decisions, learning from mistakes.
No more blaming others.
You got it. You become the author of your own story.
And that's empowering.
So empowering. It builds that self-efficacy, belief in your ability to make things happen.
Wow, those 5 stages, self-understanding, self-acceptance, self-love, responsibility, and then navigating relationships with that self-worth as the foundation. It's pretty amazing.
It is. And the best part is you can start using these tools today.
No time, like the present, right?
Right. Small steps, consistent effort, they lead to big changes.
I feel like, we've really uncovered some powerful stuff today.
Yeah.
Like what it really means to cultivate self-worth.
The kinds that sticks with you, yeah.
The kind that, doesn't fall apart when things get tough.
That inner resilience, it's gold.
It is. Before we wrap up, can we recap some of the key takeaways?
Sure, what are you thinking?
Well, I was really blown away by how many things we think determine our worth, but actually don't. All those external things we talked about, job titles, followers, even relationships.
It's so easy to get caught in that trap, right?
Mm,
Comparing ourselves to others.
totally. But remembering that those things are kind of like superficial.
It is a huge step.
And then there's that 5-stage approach, from Adam Teskey.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I love having a framework like that. Makes it feel less overwhelming.
It's a great starting point. And it all begins with, self-understanding.
Right? That exercise where you imagine everything is stripped away.
Ugh, what's left? That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Getting to the core of who you are beyond what you do.
Exactly. And once you have that, it's easier to start accepting yourself.
The self-acceptance piece. That feels hard sometimes.
It can be. If you're struggling, maybe try shifting your focus from judging yourself to just observing.
Noticing those critical thoughts, but not getting, swept away by them.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself like you would to a friend.
We're often our own worst critics,
It's true. And of course, not relying on others for our worth.
especially in romantic relationships.
Yeah. True self-worth. It comes from within.
You know what I'm really struck by? That idea of shifting from achieving to being.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It is. It's I can relax a little.
Exactly. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination.
Okay. This has been amazing, but I bet some listeners are thinking, what now?
That's a great point. What would you say to them?
Good question. I'd ask them, what would your self-worth scale look like?
Oh, I love that.
What matters most to you? Not what society says, but what are your measures?
Define it on your own terms.
Yeah, exactly.
That's powerful. And remember, building self-worth, it's a journey.
Not a destination, right?
Right. It's those small everyday choices. Treating yourself with kindness, respect.
Showing up for yourself, even when it's tough.
You got it. And over time, all those little things, they add up to something really incredible.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. I'm going to work on my own self-worth scale.
Awesome. Love to hear it.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope this has inspired you to start or continue your own journey of, self-discovery and self-love.
It's been a pleasure being here. And remember, you are worthy just because you are you. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next time, take care.